What's up, YouTube? Prince Dragoon here for part 2 of my zombie trick deck list and video discussion. And this will be the XZs and side deck version of it, so let's get right into it. Now, 3 Alucards, and the reason simply 3. A lot of people would argue that that might be too many of the Alucards, but the way that I've really just focused the deck is just Alucard's really supposed to grind out for the game. You know, he's mainly the punching bag. You want them to activate if they have everything on him. You know, he's supposed to take the brunt of all their hand traps or all their spell quick play spells or trap cards. You just want them to activate it on him, and if not activated on him, you want him to just wipe them out. And sometimes, I will get the time where they'll have like a Mirror Force set and they'll have a D-Prison set. Sometimes they'll hit the Mirror Force, go in for an attack, and still get D-Prisoned. But that's why it's like, okay, once Alucard's banished, he's just useless from there, because you didn't even get the +1 from him going to the graveyard. Part of the archetype. When that's what I mean by part of the archetype, is that the archetype loves to go +1. Everybody thinks that the part of the archetype is just them flipping down, flipping up, and just staying protected while flipping down and everything. And their whole thing is just hiding, and it is, that I will not deny. But it does not mean, that's why they actually made Mummy, they are supposed, they can be spammable. As a matter of fact, if I didn't have to play them face down, I feel like they'd be a much better deck. To be honest with you. But I can see the added effects of them being face down, is really good, and their whole how they play tricks on the face down thing, really plays well to the whole grind game and their whole aspect, but I feel like the archetype itself always just goes for, hey, do what you wanna, I'm mainly just gonna try as best as I can to just play around you, keep a great hand advantage, and just always just stay that one step ahead of you. More than anything, it's more than just playing tricks. It's with Spectre, or when you have their effects of Dullahan and Alucard, where going to the graveyard, you get to add one from the grave. Then at that point, it's when you drop Crane, that's you could have just, say you draw Crane, drop Crane out of the hand. That's just one out of the hand. Crane from itself turns into a simple Crane into an Alucard. Becomes that useful monster, and then once Alucard's done, can return a Spectre or a Great Mary, or even a Jiangshi if needed, back to the hand, or the Ghoul, back to the hand, which at that point, you didn't lose anything. You just basically, traded a Crane for, a Ghost Trick in the grave after Alucard was done. So that's what I really mean, of the whole, when I mention Ghost Trick archetype, is I mean how they just to play ahead of their opponent and just to keep advantage more than anything, and in that aspect. Now this goes without saying, Tempo it's really great against how can I say, really great against decks that even even like in a mirror match, it's just great against so many decks that it's just hard to explain. It's like even in a mirror match, if they have an Alucard, Tim Tempo, bam to take your Alucard, Xyz material, you know, get my own, climb over yours, and after that just go right into downward anyway. So, so I mean, like, Tim Tempo goes without saying, Zen Mains goes without saying, Levier, is great for Mizuki plays, you know, and that's I'll explain like how the whole OTK really works here in a bit, but like Levier strictly mainly for Mizuki plays and everything. Majorum Dijin, when you ever have to climb over anything like really serious, like a Crimson Blade or nobody would ever really pull out a Crimson Blade on this deck, but say like a Stardust, or you ever have to hop over like a Hermitry, Sylvan Hermitry, or anything with like a considerable amount of attack, you know Mazurum is there for you. Fortune Tune, whenever you really like have to outlast anybody, I'm not gonna lie, Fortune Tune, I just actually beat a Light Sworn player with Fortune Tune, simply just by outlasting him and his Judgment Dragon until he decked out, and he actually paid so many times between Fortune Tune and Zen Mains as well as hand traps. I just was able to survive triple Judgment Dragon and then single Judgment Dragon all the way until he decked out with 200 life points. But Utopia, and I mean Utopia is there simply because he's a card that I actually have, and all these cards I actually have. You know, I would have if I could find like a better, like level 4 Xyz monster that would go better with the deck. That just, how can I say, like, I'm trying to find like another like Honor Arc that like not only has a great effect but just dumps both of its materials off the get-go. That's a I'm not gonna lie, like, Honor Arc is a great play against it, because as a matter of fact, I mean, when I went into Utopia, instead of going into Utopia, sometimes I'd rather go into like Honor Arc. Like, say if the only thing that they have standing is like, oh, a BLS. This actually happened in my regional tournament. The only thing that the guy had standing was a BLS. So I just happen to have Zombie Master Mizuki in the hand. I happen to have a Stein in hand and Jiangxi on field. I flip Jian for Spectre, go into Master effect into Mizuki. From there, Mizuki Master into Lavo Chain drop Master into grave to also send a second Mizuki into grave. Mizuki Banish for Master effect once again for Master effect. Well, once again to drop Stein to bring back in field. Already had the face of Jiangxi, both of them into the Levier back into the Mizuki and Master went back into Honor Arc, and then I absorbed his Blackluster Soldier with Honor Arc, dumped them both, Mizuki back into Master, and then I had an Alucard in grave, so I just Master back into Alucard with the Spectre that I drew by the original Jiangxi flip and stuff, and from there, like it was really just board domination OTK, so that's why I mean, like, a double dump sometimes is really great in this kind of play, because like Lavo Chain still keeps that first Mizuki that you have. But of course, Maestro, sometimes if you need to go like into the OTK with an Alucard kind of a play, like say like you can't really like get at the monster, like say like it's just like a normal summoned monster, like it's a normal summoned a normal summoned blue eyes. Hard to imagine you would find yourself in that kind of situation. But say like a normal summoned blue eyes where you can't absorb it, through honor arc, and you just have to go about it a different way. Symphony is there for you. Silent, of course, just for absorbing, and just like how I explained the OTK earlier. Now on the side, I'll just go over this briefly. House, just for protection. Zombie World, simply for illusions. Just to keep that kind of like control aspect over everything. And as well as, I mean, it'll play great with Zombie Master, just in case you just want to have some lulls, just for the tralala lulls. you you can drop Zombie World and Master, and really go to town, have some fun with it, and stuff like that. One compose, simply like I said, in my first video, you just want all your traps to be super responsive. Imperial Iron Wall against Chaos decks, mainly Chaos Dragons and stuff, or like like anything that really just focuses a lot on banishing and stuff. Two Lanterns, just in case like like my opponent's deck might be OTK heavier than mine and such. So like against those heretics, I mean, still, I'm not gonna lie, I still might want to keep at least one lantern, or maybe even bring in both lanterns over the Spectre. Because I mean, once they play out, and they don't have much hand advantage after that, you know. So, but when they do play out, they hit hard. So that's when I can see like lantern being the advantage over Spectre, like I discussed it over in my first video. Morphing Jar number 2, and that's mainly for the trolls, for the lulls too, and it's mainly sometimes just to get your Jiangshi out there or anything. DD Crows, just in case for anything that's like really graveyard dependent. This is really great against the Fire Kings, against the let me see here. It's really good against those Fire Kings, really good against those Dark Worlds. Just many uses for the DD Crow. Many uses actually for the DD Crow. Overworked, man. I'm not gonna lie. Everybody thinks it's like, oh yeah, that's great against Fire Fist or anything. Yeah, that's great against Fire Fist. Nah, man. Overworked is an OP card. OP card. If I just know like, hey, like you're not really gonna be like spamming that many monsters, where needle sealing's not gonna be that much, what I'm saying, you're not gonna be spamming that many monsters like Gravekeepers. You're not gonna be spamming that many monsters. But man, you definitely get that field boost. Oh yeah, I'm gonna overwork that, because it's like, yeah, you might just chill on the field with a simple descendant and a simple commandant, and just bring on a recruiter, whenever you can, kind of thing. Or you just might sit on the field with a descendant himself, and just, oh yeah, whenever I need to tribute something or get over something, because if nothing gets over me is whenever I just need to, pop something on the field, get a descendant here, and just bam. And sometimes they'll get wires to the ceiling, and that's when the overwork. Against a lot of decks, like even Maldoches, sometimes, and like with the side deck can be like moved around. Like if you want to put an abyss, if you want to put like an abyss dweller here, and then like like, oh like if you're facing off like against Maldoches, you want a abyss dweller, then overworked. Even though I guess that wouldn't. Well, yeah, in this deck, since none of your monsters will get like a boost from Abyss Dweller's effect, so I mean, yeah, you can just overwork and just go to town. But that's mainly the OTK aspect of the deck. I'll be loading like a small OTK, showing like a few samples of the OTK and how it kind of works. But you already know, this is just to answer for I know this one guy subscribed to me. Thank you. I really appreciate the up and coming help and stuff, and the views, to all those who are watching. and stuff. Just really want to say thank you for the support and everything. So expect more from me. This is Prince Dragoon saying much love. Peace out.